You know that moment when the day hasn't really begun yet, and somehow you already feel like it's been a long one? Nothing significant has happened. There's no obvious reason for it. You're not coming off something exhausting. You haven't pushed yourself in any visible way. And still, there's this quiet heaviness sitting in your body. You move through your mornings slowly. Even small things feel like they require more effort than they should. Not overwhelming effort, just enough to make everything feel slightly delayed, slightly heavier. And what makes it harder to understand is that from the outside, everything looks normal. There's a certain kind of person who lives inside that feeling more often than they let on. They show up, they function, they move through their responsibilities. Nothing about them suggests that something is off. But internally, there's this constant low-level drain. And when it does get noticed, either by others or by themselves, it's usually explained in simple, surface-level ways. Maybe you're not disciplined enough. Maybe your routine is off. Maybe you're not pushing yourself hard enough. Or maybe you're pushing yourself too much. The explanations shift, but they all circle around the same idea, that this feeling is something you're doing wrong. And after hearing that enough times, it starts to settle in, not as a loud belief, but as a quiet assumption that this is a personal failure of some kind, that if you could just organize yourself better, or rest properly, or try harder, this wouldn't be happening. But there's a problem with that explanation. It doesn't fully match the experience. Because even when you rest, the tiredness doesn't always lift. Even when your day is objectively light, the heaviness is still there. Even when you try to fix it, it doesn't respond in predictable ways. And that's usually where the confusion begins. Because what you're feeling isn't always about how much you're doing. It's about how much your system is processing. And that's something most people don't think to look at. When people talk about energy, they usually mean physical output. How much you worked, how much you moved, how much you exerted yourself. But there's another kind of energy that